Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the whole self. I just had a Dharma profile reading from AkashicResources.com. Akashic, like Akashic Records, AKASHIC, resources.com. They do amazing readings, health analysis profiles. The Dharma reading, Dharma is your teaching, and my Dharma is shifting in this lifetime, and it's changing into illumination to bring light into the darkened aspects of the world. Cool. Great. One of the things they said, the way it was described, actually made me think of Kuan Yin, is that Heather has not seen all of the 10,000 aspects of self. However, this one has been diligent in looking at many aspects of the self. It's as if this one has lived many lives almost within this lifetime. So I wanted to talk about the whole self because one of the things I do through Rare Bird Medicine is this was in my business reading through Akashic Resources, is I give individualized truth for an individual to aid them to find the whole self. And that pathway is distinct. You know, some of us are developed in this way, but not that way. And all on a million topics, So I think it's because I've spent so much of my life trying to find the whole self. What is the whole self? And the thing is you're made of emptiness. It's the only thing large enough to house everythingness. And what the ego denies, it will project onto others. So the ego has a tendency to be correcting out there. You wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? But the thing is you are that. You are everything. You are not limited. There's a reason it was specified as like 10,000 faces of self. There are many, many facets and aspects of yourself, and some of them remain hidden or subterranean or kind of outside of the light of one's awareness, in the shadows, if you will, because it's uncomfortable to consider. I like to spend time thinking about, like, am I a narcissist? What are the qualities of a narcissist? How am I being narcissistic? How am I myopic and self-absorbed? Are there ways that I'm not being sacred selfish, but being selfish? Am I aggressive or am I receptive? Am I a balance? I'm often looking at myself and my isness and asking, like, am I balanced on that topic? Because for me, it's all about finding the rim of the coin rather than very aggressively advocating for which side of the coin. I am these labels. I am this side of the coin. It's like, well, you're emptiness. It's labeling itself. And okay, cool, neat matrix you've chosen there. But really, you are everything. I think that every person has the possibility in them to be a killer. Every person has the possibility in them to do a saintly act, a life-changing act, a global changing act. And so the challenge is that we often don't want to look at the aspects of self that require growth, which is actually where our evolution work is, because we associate that with being bad. Like, I'm bad. I'm not good enough because I didn't come with this developed, and I can see so-and-so over there has it well developed, and so I must be a fool. And so some of the things I've done to support me in seeing the whole self, there's this great resistance and avoidance of crazy. Am I crazy? Are you crazy? Are we freaking crazy? I've never met a two-legged in my life that it hasn't, not that all two-leggeds have expressed this to me, but either acted crazy, you are acting crazy, or expressed to me like, I feel crazy, and that made me feel crazy. Like, it's a common conversation in the collective consciousness of mankind. And there's this like vilification of it. Let me be anything but crazy. But as Krishnamurti said, it is no sign of wellness to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So if you're not crazy, maybe you're just well adjusted to a profoundly sick society and you actually have work to do. So several years ago, when I stepped on the shamanic path, I worked to just really accept my crazy. You crazy, crazy lady. You are nutbag. And there is something so liberating in that, and being able to look at the shadow aspects of self. There are things I do that are nutty bananas different. As a neurodivergent, I'm sure I do many of them. And okay, it doesn't make me bad if I'm crazy. Crazy is simply a word we put on, I don't understand you. I don't understand you. Most people wouldn't do that. Therefore, because it doesn't make sense, that's crazy, Or it's like this fear of the unknown that man tends to hold at the same time. Like, I don't know that, so I have to label it as unstable. And okay, trampolines are unstable, but they're wicked fun. It's not necessarily bad to be different and divergent. It's actually what we're doing. A garden is filled with many plants and flowers. They're all different and distinct. They all offer different medicine in your hours. And so the same is true of mankind. The same is true of animal kind, plant life, planetary bodies, stars, what's out there in space. We see in nature echoes of divergence. It's a divergent life. And we are divergent. There's a book I read ages ago called Undoing Yourself by Christopher S. Hyatt. Now, I personally don't agree with everything Christopher S. Hyatt says. I also don't agree with everything every comedian says. There are lots of comedians, like Dave Chappelle's pro-life. I am not. But I don't need him to be me. The role is taken. The role is taken. So for me, when I watch comedy, because I'm chronically depressed, so I look for the parts that make me laugh and I ignore the parts that don't. I kind of do that with humanity too, because I'm not here to take away your free will and tell you who to be. Evolve now! Be evolved immediately. Let me get the plank out of my own eye instead of fiddling with your splinter, or whatever it may be, plank or forest in your eye. Let me address this character. And what is my whole self? Well, the thing is when we avoid the aspects of self that we judge and we aren't willing to look, like, do you have codependency issues? Are you needy? Are you cranky? Are you fuzzy? Are you stoic and overly serious? Stoicism is beautiful. Also, hilarity is beautiful. The cosmic joke is hilarious. Are you laughing? So when we look holistically at the characteristics, the nature of being, the aspects of being that are available as you label your emptiness, are there any that you're avoiding? And do you avoid them because you think that would make you bad? Is it bad for you to be crazy? Is it bad for you to be lazy? Is it bad for you to be unclear or hazy? Like, where is it that you are running from an aspect that is possibly part of your character, but also not the end of the world? Everybody's a hot mess from what I've seen. We're all a hot mess, everybody. So can we just calm down about it? Maybe keeping up with the Joneses and being quote unquote cool, which is not keeping up with the Joneses, frankly, in my opinion, is not as big of a grace as we're told in this realm. Maybe a better grace is to fully know the self. And as we can accept the shadow aspects of self, the whole self, and this includes all of your graces and gifts. For some of you, like me, you may be very self-analyzing, very self-critical of what needs to evolve because you seek to be done with this earth school goofiness. Like, this is bananas. We come down here and forget that we're the light of love and then chase it back our whole lives, and we just infinitely do this and just forget to love ourselves, and I forgot to love myself, and I'm having a hard time loving myself because I feel guilty for playing separate from God even though I'm a hologram. We just boop, boop, boop. To me, it's all about let me evolve as much as I can, which causes me to tend to be, and perhaps it's the Mercury, Scorpio cusping sun. I'm very willing to look at what will transform and transmute me. Haven't always been, have been definitely defensive and had a hard time looking at a lot of it most of my life. As I age and as I evolve more and more, it's like, let's look at whatever you're scared of being, I'm scared of being weak. So Spirit gives me infinite opportunity to be strong. Thanks so much. What a fun lesson. Thank you. So that I might see what I am. Because I am both weak and strong. In the moment when I get news that someone I love has died, I might have a moment of weakness, even though I know they're with me, in which everything in me just collapses. Literally, the capacity to hold up my body has collapsed with news of this nature. And that's what I mean by weak. I don't mean like it's weak to grieve. Okay, so let's not make up weird stuff. That's what I mean. And I felt weak and I felt weak in response sometimes to what life has demanded, right? And I'm wicked strong. I'm one of the wicked strongest people I know. And so my challenge often is, because I tend to self-evaluate the negative, is to, first of all, continue to do that. Keep doing it. I'm not going to get evolved by just being like, what amazing. I have no work. I don't know why I'm in this flesh costume. What a doll. Fun, but we all have some work to do. If you're in a flesh costume, you still have evolution work to do. What work are you doing? There's this other piece, though, of honoring all your gifts, honoring the grace that you be, honoring your tremendous offerings. I just had a wonderful reading with my very psychic friend, Olga Mora. She is an angel reader. She's communicated with the angels for a long time. She's been a powerful psychic since she was a child in Mexico, working with spirits, and has continued to develop her gift in such a way where she really has a direct link with angels. So if you want to work with an angel reader, let me know. If you're interested in unusual things and you want the person, ask Heather. I probably know the person for you. She has this beautiful gift, this beautiful grace. And I had a great reading with my dear friend where she used that tremendous gift that I've been able to receive stories around how it's developed and how it's moved from the spirit world to the angelic seraphim and all of this. And she told me today, she's like, Heather, you're such a light. Like, you're so beautiful and you're such a light and you're such a grace. And I don't think of myself in that way very often in this place. I usually if I think about my face and my body, or like, what do I look like? I often think like just regular lady. I just look like a regular lady, right? I'm like some lady over there, like a neighbor. That's what I think, I don't think, let me get to toot my own horn. Like, what a beauty. Because I see, I see my beauty and I see beauty in many things. But because I see beauty in many things, it's like, yeah, regular, look regular. So this piece of receiving from Olga, my gifts, she's like, you are an eagle, you are a light, you are let's look. She's like, remember years ago when you were in Dallas, in this decade, you've traveled to California, you've traveled to New Mexico, you've been traveling around and you've been evolving your business and you've been sharing your message and you've been sharing your light. And that is not something I've been reflecting on. And that is a part of my whole self. All of Heather includes this woman that is driven and devoted to share the light of love in this realm. And what that means is at the helm when you engage with me. And might I know that piece too? So today, I'm taking a moment as I reflect this week on my new Dharma profile to consider the 10,000 faces of self. And it felt like when I heard, it's like, ooh, she hasn't seen all 10,000 faces. I was like, oh, let me find the faces that are missing. Where did I lose some faces in the cracks of life? let me figure out who that lady is, because I am real weird and I do a lot of things. So I have a really good spectrum of experience of self, which is such a grace for my own physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, holistic health. So today I'm asking you, are there any aspects of self that you think may be qualities that you judge and you attack, and you are defensive even about them? I'm not needy. I'm super independent. But you're always grabbing for love, right? Let's just look at it. Why am I always grabbing for love? Well, I'm having a difficult time loving myself, so I feel like I need it. Okay, so let me remember that I love myself. Oh, wonderful me. Look at me existing. Look at me. It's not easy in these streets. Look at me. Let me love myself, So let's consider, what is it that we're running from? Because it's something that's just hitting you in the back of the head as you walk forth in life all the time anyhow. It's knocking on your door that you might open it, turn around and realize, oh, I don't have to run from this. I am this, but it's not all that I am. And are there any aspects of your being that are a grace, that are a gift, that are a medicine, that are an offering, that are the juge de la juge of what you be? And can you place your attention on that as well in the living tree to fully know the whole self? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Amun.